Welcome to the PhoneArena.com video preview of the BlackBerry Storm 2 9550. To pick the two devices up, you won't notice much of a difference between the original Storm 9530 and this new Storm. The weight is pretty much similar. Both of them are very heavy. We measured the overall dimensions on this new one, and unofficially everything's within a millimeter. Some dimensions a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller. It should be noted that the device is about a millimeter thicker, a trend that we like to see go in the opposite way. The design overall remains pretty much the same though. Instead of the silver keys on the side, they're now plastic and black, kind of similar to what we saw on the 8520. We actually prefer this a little bit more. It gives a bit more uniform look. The back door is still brushed metal. It now has a latch down at the bottom, again like the 8520, instead of the crazy dual hinge system we saw on the 9530. The speaker, if you can tell, is down at the bottom of the phone now, instead of at the back. Even though RIM had the nifty little tabs before, this means that the speaker is not facing towards the back of you, or facing the table when set down. The speaker was actually quite loud and clear, and we were impressed with it. The big story with the Storm, however, is the screen. The first time around it was because of how bad it was, and this time around it's because of the improvements that RIM has made. Before, there was one center button underneath the screen, which registered all your inputs. On the 9550, there are now 4 buttons, located at each of the corners. As you press the device down, you still feel a very noticeable click. We're not sure if you can hear this, but it's actually squeaking on our review unit. Please keep in mind that this is a pre-production unit, and everything, hopefully, is subject to change. We're running into one of the issues we have with it now, however. As you may have noticed, it took us several tries to press the end button before it actually registered the press. And in fact, on those first 2 or 3 tries, the button just flat out doesn't move. As you can see, these buttons are now flush and part of the display, as opposed to the individual buttons that they were before. This means it's part of the screen technology, and not its own regular button. There are often times when we go to press the button, and there's absolutely no give whatsoever. We really don't like this, and we're not sure if this is intentional, or if our unit just still has some bugs in it. We know that this device uses piezo technology, which means the display can be solid when not in use. However, it is a little weird, because even though the screen's off, it'll still turn on with the press. It's just down at these buttons at the bottom that we're experiencing this issue with. Again, hopefully this is something with our pre-production units, but it's odd that at times we can access them easily and at times not. It almost is as if RIM is trying to use that technology to prevent us from using buttons at certain times. We're not sure why they would do this, but it's quite maddening. Overall, the experience has been greatly improved, however. We're going to tap out a quick text message just to see how much better the keyboard is. As you can see, or maybe not, it predicted correctly that we were tapping out "this is a test message." We still find ourselves messing up with it from time to time, but it's not nearly as bad as before, and the autocorrection software can fix us most likely. It's not always the case, and there are still some words that are gibberish, but overall it's a much, much better experience. This lies in the fact that with multiple buttons, it can register multiple inputs at the same time. Previously, if we still had a finger on the screen and tried to tap down on another letter, it just wouldn't register the letter. This created gibberish text messages and was basically unusable. Now, RIM has really addressed that. It feels more like a real QWERTY keyboard. However, that's not to say it feels like a physical QWERTY keyboard. The technology is improving greatly, but at the same time, we just don't see us enjoying it even when it's working perfectly. We'll reserve our final judgment for when the production unit comes out. However, we're not sure that the Storm 2 is going to be that much better, and again, we don't know that we like that technology even if working perfectly, that it'll be worth it.